Well, whether you're new to the Philippines or you've been here a while, one of the things that comes up often for expats is food in the Philippines. Now, I'm going to try to cover a lot of information. Some of this you may know, some you may not have ever heard of or been aware of. So we're just going to kind of plow through it really quickly. Now, there's the small, we call them cayenderas. It's like a little family-owned restaurant, but it's not really a restaurant in the usual sense that you're thinking of. It's oftentimes, sometimes it's not even in a fixed location. It's just out there on the sidewalk. They set up every day. Other ones, they do have a location, but you're basically talking about somebody who's making some home-cooked Filipino food, and then they'll have it in pots out there. Now, I've been to many of the cayenderas over the last 12 years or so, and it's a mishmash. It depends on whether you like Filipino food, and that's the other thing. There's Filipino food, and then there's Western food. We'll get to that in a minute. Now, the street food, I would say 80% of it I like. There's the barbecue, which I'm a big fan of. I'll eat barbecue any day of the week. I love it. I mean, I can make a whole meal out of just barbecued, whether it's pork or chicken or whatever. I'm not too crazy about the barbecued fish, but I will eat it once in a great while. So there's the barbecue, which I love. And then there's like part of the street food. They have what they call quick. Now, quick, I don't eat it. Not because it's not tasty. I've had it plenty of times. There's quick squid and just all kinds. They have like a wide variety of them. But basically, quick, you take a bunch of vegetable oil, heat it up for deep frying, and then they buy these usually pre-frozen, it might be anything. It might be squid balls, it might be squid, it might be, some kind of usually a dough type thing. And then they put it on a skewer and then they deep fry it. Usually they'll give you like a dipping sauce, usually like a sweet and sour sauce. And they're very popular because they're only like 5 pesos, 10 pesos each. The students get them after school. They're inexpensive, a little snack, Now, I'll give you my quick rundown on Filipino food. I would say that there are about 15 different dishes that I really like when it comes to Filipino food. There's, for instance, I just had yesterday, I had some pork sisig. It's basically pig's ears and pig head meat all chopped up with some onions and garlic. It sounds kind of gross, but it's actually very good. Then they put an egg on it and serve it on a sizzling platter. It's very good. I like it anyway. Not so good if you have like you're prone to heartburn or you can't handle a lot of chilies or peppers. It'll probably just give you indigestion. Pork sinigang soup is whenever I get feel like I'm catching a flu or something, the first thing I crave is pork sinigang. It's a great Filipino dish. It's basically a pork stew, but it has a tangy taste to it. I've made it a couple times. I got it kind of close, but really just have a Filipino make it for you and they'll do it right. It's really good. My wife V makes it and I just love it. I also love lugao, which is like a poor man's porridge. It's like probably like one little piece of chicken finely chopped with some vegetables. Mostly it's rice and water with some salt and Knorr seasoning. You can get it for like 10 pesos a bowl. That's like 20, not even 20 cents a bowl. So again, it's kind of like a poor man's street food, but I like it. Now there's lumpia, which is basically it's an egg roll. It's just the Filipino version of an egg roll. What I have found, most places, unless you're getting them home cooked, not store-bought or not out on a vendor, most lumpia, even in restaurants, like 50% dough. What it should be is like an egg roll that's, say, about 1.5 inches in diameter with a little bit of dough deep fried around it. But that's not usually what you get. Usually what you get is a very small little smattering of chopped cabbage in there. And by the time they deep fry it, you bite into it, 50% of what you're eating is just deep fried dough. So you really got to get some home cooked ones to get the really good ones, or make them yourself. Those are the best ones I've ever had, the ones I made myself. There's so many Filipino dishes I do like. For instance, banana turon. It's a dessert. It's basically a sweet banana in an egg roll, deep fried. You put some ice cream on it, really good. Now, there's a lot of dishes. Chicken adobo, another. I like the what's called the dry chicken adobo. Usually what you're going to get is the wet version of the adobo. They're both good, but I like the dry one better. There's all these really good Filipino dishes. Now, some guys are very close-minded. They don't want to try any Filipino food. They've already decided they're just not going to eat it. And we're going to get into how that affects you in the Philippines when we get into the Western food here in a second. Now, this is what I will say about Filipino food. There are the dishes that I like, many of which I just listed, but I eat very few of them, and I'll give you the reason why. It's health reasons. Anything that's deep fried is going to be deep fried in vegetable oil. That does not work with my keto diet. It's vegetable oil. I can give you a link. In fact, I'll give you a link to my Healthy Habits group. There's like over 200, more than 200 videos about everything about health, and you'll see many videos there about just how bad vegetable oil is for your diet. It doesn't matter what diet you're on. So that's my problem with anything that's deep fried. So lumpia, bola bola, all that stuff, I just don't eat it. I like it and I've had it, but I basically avoid it now. Any kind of, even the fried chicken, vegetable oil, deep fried in vegetable oil. You're not going to find anybody that's deep frying chicken in coconut oil, MCT, or avocado oil, none of the healthy oils. They're going to be frying it in the cheapest vegetable oil around. And what's even worse is they may reuse that oil day after day until it just gets so discolored, but by that time it's degraded and it's even more poisonous for your body. So anything deep fried, I don't go for it. Now, I am big on meat. So like I said, when it comes to barbecue, I will eat barbecue at the drop of a hat. Same thing with lechon. Lechon is actually a very good, if you're on the keto diet, it's a good protein source, and it's got a lot of fat. You know, you want to train your body to live off of fat, not off of carbohydrates and sugars. You want to keep your glucose down, your protein up. So lechon is great. Now, me personally, I know everybody seems to like the big lechon that they get, the whole lechon where they roast it, you know, for, I don't know, it's like 8 hours or something. They're very popular at weddings and parties and whatnot, get-togethers. Usually you can get an entire pig for about 120 to 150 bucks, you know, and oftentimes with some of the fixings on the side. But I've had that, it's okay. What I like much better is the boneless lechon. Now, so far I've only found it in Valencia and Cebu. Now, boneless lechon, they take a big, chunky meat of just no bone. It's basically a big slab of pork belly, which is like where you get bacon, but it's not sliced, it's just one big slab. And they will put lemongrass on it, some different herbs, spices, probably vinegar and soy sauce, or whatever they put on it, some chili peppers, and they roll it. They roll this big slab of meat with all these spices, and then they tie it like a big Tootsie Roll with some wire, and then they put it on a rotisserie and they'll cook it just by itself. It has way more flavor, way just crispy on the outside, tender on the inside. I'm telling you, once you've had boneless lechon, the regular lechon just tastes so bland by comparison. Just totally knocks it out of the ballpark. So I'm big on the lechon. Other things I don't eat is anything Filipino food that has pasta in it. So for instance, the pancit is noodles with a very small sprinkling of vegetables for color. They'll put liver in there. Now, liver's good for you, but all that pasta is not. It's carbohydrates, starches, which are going to turn into sugar, which is not good for your body. There is Italian spaghetti, which has a tomato, garlic, salt flavor. That's the main thrust of the sauce, is garlic and salt. But when you get in the Philippines, it looks like spaghetti in a picture, but when you taste it, it's got like a banana ketchup taste to it, which is very sweet. It will have oftentimes even sugar added to the sauce, and then it will have, kind of like the local hot dogs, which are usually from China, actually. They do have some that are made here in the Philippines, but they'll take hot dogs and chop them and roll that in there and then put some fake cheese on top. And Filipinos love it because it's very sweet. I've described it as, to people who have never had it before, I go, imagine a hot fudge sundae, but just replace the fudge with sweet tomato sauce. The sweetest tomato sauce you can find. That's Filipino spaghetti. When you go to buy spaghetti sauce in the grocery store, you might find one or two, they sell them in bags, the sauce. You might find one or two selections that are garlic based or cheese based, more like Italian. But then you'll find like 6 or 7 different options for, they'll call it sweet Filipino spaghetti sauce or whatever, but it's all sweet. It's all sweet. So between the added sugar and the carbohydrates from the spaghetti, that's another food I just don't eat in the Philippines, is the spaghetti. So let's take a look here at some information you may or may not know about the Philippines when it comes to your fast food selections. And by fast foods, I'm also going to put in there sit-down restaurants. The big franchises that you can expect to find in the Philippines, and a little bit of background on really the illusion of choice that you really have. So let's take a look at that. So first we're going to look at some of the top franchises you can expect to find in the Philippines. Now the first one you're going to find, of course, is Jollibee. Now if you've never been to a Jollibee, just imagine McDonald's, but instead of Ronald McDonald, they got this big dancing bee with a smile on his face. And it's basically same thing. You've got fast, quick, inexpensive burgers with fries and little toys and all the same trappings and familiarity you have with McDonald's. That's Jollibee, and they are huge in the Philippines. Even the tiniest little towns, not all, but just about every place I've been to in the Philippines, you'll find a Jollibee. And you will find the Jollibee usually across the street or next door to a McDonald's. So if you can't find the Jollibee, just find the McDonald's. It'll be right there across the street. I guess it's just how they choose to do their marketing and whatnot. The bread, very high starch. The drinks are all sugary drinks, so I don't drink those. Again, I'm trying to stick to as healthy a diet as I can with the keto diet and intermittent fasting. So with keto, you're basically trying to stick with meats and vegetables, little bit of fruit. So when you go to Jollibee, there's not a whole lot there to choose. Next, the next big fast food place you're going to run into is Mang Inasal. Now, I like Mang Inasal. When you go there, everything you order is going to come with rice. That's just kind of the standard thing. They have desserts. Again, I like the banana tudon they have with the ice cream on top. Massive amounts of sugar. Bananas have sugar. The flour wrapping around the banana is going to turn into sugar. And then you got the ice cream on top. So it's pretty much diabetes on a plate. But the tudon's really good. The chicken, I like it, and it's good for my diet, but I always feel bad ordering a combo meal and then telling them, well, just don't give me the rice. And then they're confused. And it's like, are you sure you don't want the rice? Why wouldn't you want the rice? The rice comes with the combo. You get into this whole conversation. It's actually cheaper for me to just go to, like I said, a San Pedro chicken place, buy the whole roasted chicken, just the roasted chicken for 240 pesos or so, take it home and just eat the chicken. No, I don't have to deal with rice or desserts or sweet drinks or sodas or none of that. But if you're going to go to, if you're hard pressed to find a healthy meal, Mang Inasal, the chicken they have there, at least the chicken is healthy. Again, you want to dodge the rice. The next one is Chowking. Now, Chowking is about the most fast food version of Chinese food you're ever going to come across. You know, you're probably familiar with Panda Express, Chinese food franchise in the United States. Chowking is like not quite as good. Chowking does have some okay offerings, but honestly, it is everything that you look at there has got starches and sugars. There's a few little smatterings like their chow mein that has some vegetables, but you know, really when you look at the whole combo, it comes with a soda or it comes with like an artificial juice. It comes with rice. It comes with pancit. It comes with a little flour dough dessert. It's really not a great healthy choice if you're trying to avoid carbohydrates. But it's very popular. Again, you will find them all over the place. Many times you'll find them within 2-3 blocks of the Jollibee. Now the next other franchise in the Philippines you're bound to run into is Greenwich. I don't know, some people pronounce it Greenwich, some Greenwich. I don't know which is the proper one, but I've just always called it Greenwich. So they do pizza. Now, okay, it pretty much should go without saying, all that dough is not good from a keto standpoint. But if you're looking for an inexpensive pizza that will do the job and fill you up, they got a pretty good deal. You know, you can get like 3 medium pizzas for like $9. It's a pretty good deal. You know, if you just want to chow down on some okay pizza while you're watching Netflix or something, or hanging out by the pool, you know, Greenwich will do the job, or Greenwich, however you want to say it. Now there's Red Ribbon, another franchise. They're not really fast food, but I'm including them. I'll tell you why in a minute. Red Ribbon is a desserts place. They sell cakes. If you're going to any kind of a decent birthday party or whatever, and you want to bring some cakes or desserts, Red Ribbon is the place to go. They package it nicely. The desserts are really good. They have a pretty big selection. Very good cakes. They're kind of known for their red velvet cake. And then there is a place called Max's Restaurant. I think their slogan is the house that chicken built or something like that. Now Max's Restaurant is fried chicken. I've been to Max's at least 5 times in different cities. Honestly, personally, I don't see what the big deal is. I was not impressed. I just, you know, my own personal opinion, I just wasn't crazy about it. And their big forte is fried chicken. Again, fried in vegetable oil. That doesn't work for me. Lots of people like it. If you're kind of craving some Western type of, you know, chicken food, then Max's Restaurant, maybe you'll be totally okay with that. Now the next one, believe it or not, Burger King. Now Burger King is obviously not originated in the Philippines. However, Burger King, the Philippines worked out a franchising agreement with Burger King to where, again, I don't know the complexities of how they worked it out on a corporate level, but basically Burger King back in 2011 bought out what's the other one? Carl's Jr. Prior to 2011, Carl's Jr. had a presence in the Philippines. But then a Philippines corporation got together, got the Burger King franchises, and bought out all of the Carl's Jr.'s. So now, forget about finding Carl's Jr.'s in the Philippines. Burger King is now one of the major presences. Technically, this franchise ring, if you want to call it, in the Philippines is Philippine owned. So Burger King originated in the United States, but when you go to a Burger King in the Philippines, it's the same franchise, same food, made the same way, but owned under a Philippine franchise. KFC. Although KFC does not have, I don't think, the same type of corporate arrangement. I didn't look into that. But you can also expect to find KFC. Again, fried chicken in vegetable oil, and again, doesn't really work for me. A lot of the combos you get from KFC, they're going to come with rice. Again, that doesn't work for me. Now here's the interesting thing. Jollibee. We just went over these. Jollibee, Mang Inasal, Chowking, Greenwich, Red Ribbon, Max's Restaurant, and Burger King in the Philippines. Sounds like you got a choice of who you want to give your money to. Guess what? All 7 of those are owned by the same Jollibee Foods Corporation, JFC. Jollibee Foods Corporation owns Jollibee, Mang Inasal, Chowking, Greenwich, Red Ribbon, Max's Restaurant, and the Burger King franchises in the Philippines. So, just something to know. It's not like, oh, I really like Mang Inasal, I'm going to give them my money, but I don't really feel like giving money to Max's Restaurant. Well, guess what? It all goes into the same pot, all owned by the Jollibee Foods Corporation. Now, some of the other places that are in the Philippines that are owned and operated, these are more like restaurants, not fast food. One is called Pancake House. I've been to the Pancake House in Cebu, met with a couple of you guys there. If you're really craving pancakes and waffles and all that, well, you can either go to the Denny's in Cebu or you can go to the Denny's in Manila. That's the only 2 that I know of in the entire Philippines when it comes to Denny's. Very few other places will make pancakes. You know, when you go to a Philippine restaurant and you look at their breakfast menu, it's going to be rice, eggs with some corned beef or some variation of that. And it's going to involve rice. But, you know, you go and ask them for some waffles or some pancakes, and they're going to be like, sorry, sir, not on the menu, or menu, as they say. So there's Pancake House. Me, personally, I found them to be a little overpriced for what you're getting. They kind of have a corner on the market when it comes to Western breakfast food, so they charge a little bit more. But if you're really hankering for some pancakes, you can go to Pancake House. Another restaurant is Teriyaki Boy. I've never eaten there. I've seen it around town. Maybe some of you guys have been there. You could give a review there in the comments section. There's Teriyaki Boy is very popular when it comes to restaurants in the Philippines. Another one is Sizzlin' Steak. Now, this is not Sizzlers. This is Sizzlin' Steak. So again, I haven't been to many of those, not enough to even recollect in my mind, but it is an option. The one thing to keep in mind is there's only 2 types of beef in the Philippines. There's the cheap, low-grade beef, which is not expensive. It'll be average price, you know, maybe $6-7 a plate. And then, if you're thinking about a juicy steak, something you can really sink your teeth into, something that's, you know, grilled just right and got those spices going, and, you know, a really good steak, you're going to be hard pressed to find that. And when you do find it, you'll know you found it because it's going to be about $20 a plate or more. Even buying it frozen from Australia, if it's good steak, it's going to be about $20 for one steak, and you're going to cook it yourself. So I generally, me personally, I would rather have good chicken than a bad steak. I pretty much forget steak even exists when I'm in the Philippines. The only, if I really am craving steak, I will go to a place called Moon's Cafe, again, very popular in the Philippines, and I will get their pork steak, which is a fairly decent sized steak. It's pork, which I got no problem with that. But I would rather have a really good pork steak at Moon's Cafe than a very tough, mediocre, disappointing steak at most other places in the Philippines. Again, you can decide if it's worth it for you or not, just kind of trying to, give you the heads up on that. Another place is Yellow Cab Pizza. Now, when it comes to pizza in the Philippines, made by Philippines company, to me, Yellow Cab is the best out of the Philippine companies. Because you have other places like Pizza in a Box, or Mr. Pizza, Pizza in a Minute, Alberto's. You've got all these low-grade, frozen, artificial cheese pizzas that are just kind of cooked in a convection oven. You get those for like $1, and they're so nasty. Anytime I've gotten them, I end up just putting it out on the curb for the dogs. It's that bad. But Yellow Cab Pizza is a good pizza company from the Philippines, originated in the Philippines. They're a little pricey, more than your average Philippine pizza, but they're worth it. And they have like a garlic sauce pizza, which I really love. They have all the usual meat lovers and all that. Your pineapple pizza with ham. I like their dough. I like their toppings. I like their cheese. It's good pizza. Me personally, I really like them. Again, as much as I love pizza, for me, that's like a treat once every month or once every 6 weeks. Another two places that are very familiar with each other are Vietnamese. One is called Pho Hoa, or H-O-A, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Pho Hoa, and then Phat Pho. Now, I've always gone to Phat Pho, never went to Phat Hoa. But they're both Vietnamese places that make pho, banh mi sandwiches, spring rolls, all the usual Vietnamese fare. Now, Phat Pho, I've been to several, and I love it. I love it. It's healthier food. Pho is very healthy. You're basically talking about broth, spices, vegetables, and meat. It's a very delicious, great, good, healthy meal. I will go there in a heartbeat. V loves Vietnamese food. And even though the spring rolls have that thin layer of, rice wrapping around it, and it does have vermicelli pasta on the inside, between the bean sprouts and the shrimp and the different sauces you dip it in, the peanut sauce or the chili sauce, I love spring rolls. They're really good. There's also an omelet. I can't think of the name right now, but it's a shrimp omelet that you wrap in lettuce and dip it in a spicy sauce. Oh man, it's so good and healthy. So Pho Hoa and Phat Pho, again, really great Vietnamese food. And then finally, there's Red Lizard. Now, Red Lizard is a franchise. It is a sit-down place. And Red Lizard is basically Mexican food. Now, what some of you may not know is Red Lizard is also owned by the same company, or not, they're a sister company to Maya. People have always asked me, where's the best Mexican food you've ever had in the Philippines? Well, there's only like 3 places, some mom and pop places like in Dumaguete, for instance, Señoritas. Also the burrito company, Bantayan Burrito Company over in Bantayan. I love that place. Great Mexican food. But when it comes to a franchise, Maya has just, it's like going to a great Mexican restaurant back home. I mean, they've got a full bar with, they'll make you a great margarita and stuff, but their food, I've tried so many items there. I've tried the chimichanga and the enchiladas and the tacos. Oh, they are just delicious. and actual Mexican rice. So if you're really in the mood to get some really good Mexican food, I would say go to Maya. Now their sister company is Red Lizard. Red Lizard is like a fast food version of Mexican food. Better than Taco Bell, okay? Better than Taco Bell. Some of their stuff is mediocre. Like for instance, the nachos, they're okay. I'm really not into the cheese that they use. However, their carne asada burrito, their all chicken burrito, that alone is a meal in itself. Awesome burritos, really good. And now their salsas, I guess they make them a little on the weak side so that nobody burns themselves or something. My only hang up is their salsas could be a bit spicier. You know, if you're going to scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, I would say their salsas are about a 4 to a 5. I prefer more like an 8 or a 9. So you can try, you know, maybe they'll have a bottle. Sometimes they'll have bottles of Tabasco or habanero. It's not always there, but if it's there, you can spice it up with that. So now these restaurants that I just mentioned, Maya, Red Lizard, Fat Pho, Pho Hua, Yellow Cab Pizza, Sizzling Steak, Teriyaki Boy, Pancake House, all of these are owned by the parent company, Pancake House Group. So similar to what we were talking about with Jollibee Foods Corporation, which is mostly focused on fast food, when it comes to restaurants, all these ones I just listed are owned by the same parent company, Pancake House Group. So I guess the reason I'm telling you this is because if you think you're going to the Philippines and you're seeing all these different restaurants and fast food places, what you're not seeing is an open market of competition. These places are not in competition with each other, really. They're not. They're specializing in different foods, but you're basically, your choices, like let's look at these, Jollibee, Manganasol, Chowking, Greenwich, Red Ribbon, Max's Restaurant, Burger King, Pancake House, Teriyaki Boy, Sizzling Steak, Yellow Cab Pizza, Pho Hua, Fat Pho, Red Lizard, and Maya's. Your money's going to go to one of two umbrella corporations, either the Jollibee Foods Corporation or to the Pancake House Group. So now let's talk about Western food choices. Now what you will find is McDonald's. Like I mentioned, if you find a Jollibee, McDonald's is going to be right there across the street or right next door. Now, a couple caveats. If you love McDonald's, which I think it should go even without saying, McDonald's is not healthy food, okay? There's just no real debate on that. Now here's something to keep in mind when you're going to a McDonald's in the Philippines. Usually when you go to a McDonald's in your home country, you look at the menu and you say, okay, give me a Big Mac combo or give me a McFish sandwich or whatever they call it. And you know, you pay your money and you order it and fine, you're done. In the Philippines, so many times it's kind of become like a running joke. Sometimes you'll go in, like for instance, this happened with me. I was at the McDonald's over there in Mandawi. And so I walked up and I said, well, tell you what, I'll take a Big Mac, you know, the combo. And they're like, oh, sorry, sir, that's out of stock. I'm like, how can you be out of stock with Big Macs? So then I said, okay, well then forget about the Big Mac. Just give me the regular, you know, hamburger with fries and whatever. And they go, oh, well, we're out of stock with that too. I was like, okay. And they're not elaborating much. So I'm like, well, maybe they're out of beef patties. So I said, okay, well, tell you what, give me the chicken burger. I'll take that combo. Oh no, sorry, sir, that's out of stock. I'm like, okay, I'm not really in the mood for a fish sandwich. Since they're out of stock on the other stuff, I said, okay, well, give me the fish sandwich combo. And they go, well, no, sir, sorry, we're out of stock. So at that point, I said, okay, rather than us doing this, why don't you tell me what you do have? And they said, well, We have sundaes, we have fries, and we have the burger patty with gravy on top. I said, well, if you have patties, how come you don't have the hamburgers? They said, oh, and they kind of leaned forward. They said, well, we're out of hamburger buns. So instead of putting a little sign up and saying, no hamburger buns, only order whatever without a, it's like we went through this whole song and dance. And I'm sure all day long they went through this song and dance. And I've talked to other expats who have gone to a McDonald's in the Philippines, and it was like, sorry, sir, we have no fries. You can order whatever you want, but it's not going to come with fries. And it's like, are you going to lower the price since I don't get the fries? Oh, no, we're going to give you a big scoop of rice. Well, what if I don't want rice? Well, then don't eat it, but you're getting rice instead of fries. And another time, again, no beef patties. And then forget about the shakes. Okay, again, that is almost a legend unto itself. If you've ever gone to a McDonald's and actually the shake machine was working, go out and buy a lottery ticket because that was your lucky day. So there is McDonald's. That's one of the fast food choices, but again, it's not a healthy choice. Another foreign-owned fast food franchise that you'll find in the Philippines is KFC. You're probably familiar with KFC. Again, I like KFC, but it's, again, deep fried. And I don't want to eat a bunch of fries. I do love the coleslaw, and that's not so bad from a health standpoint. But again, mashed potatoes, not good. Too many starches. But KFC, if that's one of your favorite places to go, you can expect to find a KFC pretty much at every mall or within a block of any mall. You're going to find a KFC. Burger King is really not a whole lot different from McDonald's when you're talking about the bread that's involved, the potatoes that are involved, again, starches, the soda or sweet drinks that are included. You put it all together, it's not a healthy meal, it's not good for your body. The only thing it's going to help you accomplish is raising your blood sugar. But it's there. If you want a Burger King, it's there. And there's plenty of them in the Philippines. Another thing, two places that are very similar that you will find all over the Philippines. Pretty much every place I've ever gone has either a Shakey's pizza place, a Pizza Hut pizza place, or both. And they'll deliver to your house and whatnot. So if you don't feel like you want a Greenwich pizza and you're not familiar with Yellow Cab pizza, you don't want to take a chance on it, if you're familiar with Shakey's and Pizza Hut, they're available. Another place that if you got a real hankering for Western food is TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. TGIF is available. For instance, there's one over at the Ayala Mall, right there at the terrace entrance. Many of you have probably been there. I would go there every once in a while because I love their whiskey barbecue burger. And if I ever want a decent steak, I go to TGI Fridays. Now, they are going to be a little bit more expensive than your average place. Average place you go to in the Philippines, it's going to be about maybe 500 pesos at the most. More like 300 to 450 pesos. It's between $6 and $9 for lunch. If you're going to go to TGI Fridays, just expect per person, you're going to spend more like $14, $15, maybe $18, depending on what you order and whether you get dessert and whatnot. But the quality is there. They import the sauces, they import the meat, so expect that you're going to pay TGIF prices plus the import price. So don't be surprised if you go there and it's actually more expensive than it was back home. But that is an option. They do have TGIF in the Philippines. Finally, one of my long-standing favorites is Kenny Rogers Roasters. They have them at different malls all throughout the Philippines. The one I often went to was there in Cebu at the Ayala Mall. And they've got, if you're familiar with the Kenny Rogers Roasters menu, they've got it. And it's great when you just want some kind of comfort food back from the States. You got, the roasted chicken and the vegetables with the butter on it and the bun and the mashed potatoes and the gravy and the shakes. If you want a good, hearty, filling meal, Kenny Rogers Roasters is one of your popular choices that you can find easily and not super expensive. I mean, it's about maybe $9, maybe $10 at the most per person. So that I just wanted to give you that roundabout quick look at the major food choices you're going to have. But I also want to emphasize that out of all these places I just listed, which is about, I don't know, maybe 20 different places, the only ones that I would consider healthy is the roasted chicken at Kenny Rogers, the roasted chicken or the grilled chicken there at Mang Inasal, and the Vietnamese food at Pho Hoa and Phat Pho. Those four, the roasted chicken, grilled chicken, and Vietnamese food, those are like your four choices if you want to stay as much on a healthy diet as possible. All the other choices, when you're looking at the pizzas and the pancakes and the hamburgers and the deep fried chicken and the pasta filled Chinese food and whatnot, again, we all like them. I eat them once in a while, but they're not healthy to eat there every day. And unfortunately, I've talked to expats who say, I'm not touching that Filipino food. I'm only going to eat at the mall. Well, eating processed, even restaurant food, fast food, the only difference is the kind of chair you're going to sit in, and whether you're going to pay up front or bring you a bill. Other than that, you're talking about processed food, preservatives, a lot of carbohydrates, a lot of sugars, a lot of unhealthy fats through the vegetable oils. All these other places, if you eat there every day, every meal, it's going to have a huge negative effect on your overall health. So my recommendation is, if you don't know how to cook, learn how to cook. And if you don't want to learn how to cook, find yourself a good woman that knows how to cook. Because cooking at home, you're in control of the ingredients, you're in control of what you're eating. And then you go out and once a week, you go out and have yourself a really good pizza or, a nice big juicy burger somewhere. But eating fast food or restaurant food every meal, if that's your plan in the Philippines, again, I encourage you to check out, I'll put the link to my Healthy Habits group. There's so much information about just how damaging a lot of this fast food is to your body. So just keep that in mind. Okay, if I missed any of your favorite restaurants, bring them up in the comments. Give a review about what you like and don't like about it, whether you consider it healthy or unhealthy, and we can talk about it more there. Okay, see you then. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you'd like to get the behind-the-scenes videos that are only available to members and see the channel videos 2 days before they're released, then check out the top tier membership with the little join button there down below the video. Again, thanks for watching.